On this week's episode of Lindsie Chrisley's podcast, titled The Sovereignty, Todd Chrisley's daughter opened up on the process of being legally adopted by his wife, Julie. Lindsie tells her listeners that while she doesn't regret the situation, she does believe things would have transitioned a little more smoothly if she had gotten some therapy beforehand. As some fans are learning for the first time, Lindsie Chrisley was legally adopted by Todd's wife, Julie, as a young adult. Lindsie tells her listeners she was 19 when she made the decision to get legally adopted by Julie. On this week's episode of her podcast, she shared her feelings on being adopted as a young adult and fessed up on whether she thought she made a mistake or not. Looking back, Lindsie Chrisley realizes now she was going through a bit of an identity crisis between the ages of 17 and 19. She admits she felt a real lack of belonging anywhere, and it was largely because she was being raised by Todd and Julie, but she was doing so alongside children they created together. So she felt like a bit of an outsider. Lindsie Chrisley hoped that having Julie legally adopt her would make her feel more like she was part of the family. Todd Chrisley's daughter had pretty high hopes for the adoption, as she thought it would wash away her abandonment issues, and that just isn't what the outcome was. In fact, Lindsie admits Julie adopting her as a young adult just made things even more complicated. Turns out, Lindsie Chrisley wishes she would have gotten some therapy prior to going through the adoption process. She went on to explain that she believes the therapy would have allowed her to benefit more from Julie adopting her. Lindsie Chrisley wanted it to be abundantly clear she was not saying she regretted Julie adopting her as a young adult. She just wished she would have put a little more work into getting therapy and educating herself beforehand. If she had done that, she thinks she would have gotten more out of the experience. She added as she doubled down on wanting to make it crystal clear she did not regret it. Again, I'm glad that I made the decision. Don't have regrets, because the last thing I want is for people to go online and say, oh, well, she regrets this decision. No, I do not regret the decision. Did you know that Julie Chrisley legally adopted Lindsie? Do you understand why she wishes she had gotten a bit of therapy beforehand? Share your thoughts with us in the comments down below. And keep coming back for more Chrisley news.